I was remembering the time when we went to eat and there was a woman sitting outside on the ground with a baby in a carriage and her husband, and I didn't even look at them twice. I feel almost ashamed, but I have to say it to show the meaning of the story, because I just thought, oh, they're probably traveling or whatever. And I remember Mahashamrat looking at them and really with concern, and he said, are they okay? Do they need help, do you think, to Bhavatarini? And Bhavatarini didn't say anything that I knew what she was going to do, but she just stepped out of the car and walked over to them and kind of looked around, and she said, are you, oh, that's a nice baby carriage you have. It's really interesting, you know. But I realized she was really checking on them, and then she got back in the car, and Mahashamrat said, are they okay? Do they need help? And yeah, they're okay. And we turned on the car and left. And then that's just a tiny example of how I think they look out for people that they don't even know, and I don't know anyone else like that, really. You're a real example for me and for everybody.
I had the honor and the joy of driving Mahashamrat and Bhavatarini when they came to New York. And one evening, Shrita and I picked them up at the airport. And on the way to the hotel, we stopped at Anagrama. And we were sitting at that long table near the kitchen. And I was sitting on this side, facing the door. And Mahashamrat was sitting there, facing me, away from the door. And all of a sudden, Guru came in. Mm-hmm. And before you know it, he was right behind Mahashamrat. And he put his hands on Mahashamrat's shoulders. And I've been with Guru a while. I've never seen such closeness, affection, oneness with anyone. Perhaps maybe with some kids, some little kids, but never one more thing. Mahashamrat, everyone knows, was the first person to be lifted up in the Lifting Up the World program. And probably inspired it when he suggested to Guru that Guru lift people and objects that people would be familiar with and know how much they actually weigh, rather than just plates, which most people don't know what that means. So, but what may not be as known is that Mahashamrat is the most lifted person, and Mahashamrat and Bhavatarini are the most lifted couple. Wow. I personally saw Guru lift them both at the same time on a seated calf machine 100 times. Oh. 100 times, right there. 100 times is probably more than anybody else. But besides that, there were many, many times at Aspiration Ground and other places, and of course the weightlifting events.
Because it's a little bit of an embarrassing story for me. Because I invented this record called land rowing, where I put wheels and brakes on a rowing machine, and I went outside and rowed around the track. The thing fell apart after a quarter of a mile, but the idea was there, and I saw one in Germany. Someone had the same idea, so I bought this land rowing machine. I did a record. I went from New York to Philadelphia on the New Jersey Turnpike on the land rowing machine, with the police yelling over the loudspeaker, "Row, row, row your boat!" From New York to Philadelphia. So then there was a guy in Oregon who was a retired airplane engineer, and he built like this really sophisticated thing called the land rower. And I bought one. I saved up for it. It was like hundreds of dollars. Really very sophisticated thing, and had gears and brakes, and it was amazing. And so I did a record where I went 1,500 miles in 2 weeks in Bali, and I was really, really proud of this machine, and it was a great record. was the best shape of my life. And so somehow Mahashamrat heard about the machine, the Land Rover. And people that might not know that Mahashamrat, collects all these kind of different exercise machines. He has like a fleet of old cars that are in pristine condition. And actually Mahashamrat works on these cars. I mean, he's a genius at it. I mean, he refurbishes these. So anyway, he somehow sold up my Land Rover machine, which I was very attached to. And I didn't know how many were actually made. And I mentioned it, and so I knew that he wanted it. But the thing is, I was actually too attached to offer it to him. Somehow I feel kind of guilty, so I mentioned it to Guru. And Guru said, right away, give it to him. and of course I was surrendered, but I felt a little sad. And then Guru, right away, as soon as he said that, he said, don't worry, I'll get you another one. So anyway, I gave it to Mahashamrat, and it was actually, I felt a little bad because I had used it like a lot, and it was in terrible shape. I was, greasy, grimy, the seat was broken and everything. And so I didn't really know how good Mahashamrat was at this, but Mahashamrat, he's really a genius at this, and he spent hours and hours on that machine, completely refurbished it, made it like shiny brand new, built a new seat. It was amazing, and he's done that. People don't know. He's taken he told me he was working on a penny farthing, one of those old-fashioned bicycles. He spent hundreds of hours making it brand new. And so someday, I mean, it would be great to see all these. And he has cars where he does the painting, the fine detail work. He's built rebuilt cars. I mean, it's a side of him that most of us don't know, but it shows that you go all in on everything that you do. You're a perfectionist. You do everything perfectly. And we're so grateful that you've gone all in with us and with Guru.
Yeah. We do our sort of relationship with Mahashamrat Bhavatarini is through the Peace Run. And every year we go, or every second year we go to their place. And it's always a highlight. It really is. And I'm not just saying that because you guys are here, It's like, for me, I actually feel that Guru is so happy that we can go. And, to stay in your place, which is like a Shangri-La. And at some point in the evening, as we were there this year, somehow Bhavatarini let it be known that there were bears around. And all the boys were like, oh yeah, we're in a cat. Right there, really? And then going to the gym in the morning and meeting all the friends, and these two beautiful friends they have, Brenda and Mark, who are just delightful. And I think it's now 2 times in a row, Mark comes to breakfast because Brenda is working. They live about 40 miles away or so. And Mark picks up the tab for breakfast, which he's so humble. And Mahashamrat lets the cat out of the bag by saying, oh yeah, Mark's getting breakfast. And Mark goes, come on. So anyway, this photo, it was back in 1988, so I guess I was 23 at the time. And it was one of these photos where, one of these lifts where all the boys are holding dumbbells. And so I'm on this stage, I'm on this platform holding a dumbbell. And Guru says to Mahashamrat, you go on the platform. Because Mahashamrat's kind of the MC of the evening. So he gets on the platform and stands right next to me and grabs my arm. I was so proud.
I want to skip to 2007, in June. Then I got a call that I could come to Philadelphia, and people could come, and we heard that that was the Strongest Man contest. And so I went there, and it was really hard to get there. For some reason, the flight was late, and I was like praying I could make it, and I just made it, As Guru's walking in, and I see you came, and I was so thrilled. And then I noticed it was a bit of a raucous environment. Like these strong men, they're from Ukraine, they're huge, and some of them, they passed by us, and I could hear a couple of them kind of making fun in a way, which I felt very sad about. Like, who are these people all look so quiet and so, anyway. And so then it was time for Guru to lift them. And the MC, who's always our supreme MC, is Mahashamrat. I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a challenge. This is going to be even Mahashamrat, you know. So these macho guys from Ukraine, from here, there, everywhere. And Mahashamrat gets up there and he says, he just starts talking with such power, and they have so much regard for you, like you're their hero, you know. And you start talking and say, I want to tell you something. This man is about to do something I wouldn't even attempt to do. And you see their faces are completely, they're starting to go, like, I got so much joy from that. You know, they're in their 20s and they're like, oh, I see. So this is different than what we thought, you know. And so he said, now, and then they go, and then Guru lifts them all on his shoulders on the overhead platform.
All together, right?
All together. And then before it, you said, now this is something I wouldn't even attempt to do, even in my prime. And then Guru said, and now give Guru a boost, everyone. And I was like so in awe of you, because you completely transformed, like, what was a very, very, very hard. I felt really bad for Guru, and I know how your magic, your power, as Ranjana said, from centuries, from lifetimes, you bring like this presence, and we're so blessed. I mean, every time I'm in your presence, I feel like, you know, I'm with Guru, and it's like a great blessing for all of us to be with you. So I just want to thank you both for blessing me.